Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a new report from the International Energy Agency, IEA, on Friday, the ongoing Iran war is expected to keep the global natural gas market tight for at least 2 years. The conflict, now in its second month, has severely impacted liquefied natural gas, LNG, supplies, notably due to Iranian strikes on Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city. These attacks reduced Qatar's LNG capacity by 17%, with repairs estimated to take up to 5 years. The war has also led to the effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz, cutting off 1/5 of global oil and LNG supplies, a disruption IEA head Fatah Birol described as the biggest crisis in history. The IEA estimates a cumulative loss of 120 billion cubic meters of LNG supply through 2030, projecting tight markets through 2026 and two overall. The Sori Diblis News. Al Jazeera reports that Russian oil exports have significantly slumped due to intensified Ukrainian long-range strikes on its ports and energy infrastructure. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky stated that Russia's oil revenue losses in March alone are estimated at no less than $2.3 billion, with S&P Global Platts reporting a decrease of 300,000 barrels per day in oil transshipments and 200,000 BPD in refined products. This decline occurred despite the U.S. temporarily waiving sanctions on Russian oil to stabilize global crude prices. According to Commerçant and Reuters, April exports may fall to their lowest levels since 2023, forcing Russia to cut crude production. Meanwhile, Ukraine continues its drone campaign, targeting refineries far into Russian territory. On the diplomatic front, the European Union released a €90 billion loan to Ukraine after a Hungarian veto was lifted. With a new sanctions package aimed at further curtailing Russia's energy sales, Ukraine is also building new defense alliances, signing 10-year cooperation agreements with Gulf countries. UPI reports that Mexico's government has assembled a high-level economic team, led by Economy Secretary Marcelo Ebrard, to prepare for strategic trade negotiations with the United States. These talks, focusing on the review of the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA, are scheduled to begin in May with a final trilateral review on July 1st. The multidisciplinary team, which includes specialists in agribusiness, advanced manufacturing, financial services, telecommunications, and diplomacy, aims to strengthen Mexico's position on crucial issues such as automotive rules of origin and steel tariffs. President Claudia Sheinbaum has also nominated economist Roberto Lazari Montaño as the next ambassador to the United States, emphasizing a technical rather than political approach to diplomacy. Mexico's objective is to preserve certainty in regional supply chains and secure a 16-year extension of the trade agreement. Ebrard acknowledged challenges due to a gap between the U.S. government's preference for tariffs and stricter rules of origin versus the original free trade principles of the agreement. Mexico is also prepared to discuss reducing North America's dependence on Asian imports for goods like semiconductors and electronics, highlighting its competitive average tariff rate of 4% compared to Asian nations. An appeals court has ruled that President Donald Trump's executive order suspending asylum access at the U.S. southern border is illegal. NBC Boston reports, a 3-judge panel from the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit affirmed a lower court's decision, stating that existing immigration laws explicitly grant individuals the right to apply for asylum at the border, a right that the president cannot circumvent. Judge J. Michelle Childs, a Biden nominee, wrote that the power to temporarily suspend entry does not include the authority to unilaterally remove individuals or curtail their anti-torture claims. While Judge Justin Walker, a Trump nominee, partially dissented on the broad denials of asylum applications, he agreed that migrants cannot be deported to countries where they would face persecution or be stripped of mandatory protections. ACLU attorney Lee Gallant praised the ruling as essential for those fleeing danger. The Canadian press reports that a U.S. Special Forces soldier, Gannon Ken Van Dyke, who participated in an operation to capture Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, will be released on a $250,000 bond. He faces charges for allegedly using classified information about the mission to win over $400,000 on an online prediction market called Poly Market. Van Dyke, stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, was involved in the planning and execution of the Maduro operation for about a month. Prosecutors claim he violated non-disclosure agreements by using his knowledge to place a series of bets between December 30 and January 2nd. Just hours before U.S. forces seized Maduro in Caracas, predicting his removal from power by January 31st. These successful wagers resulted in profits exceeding $404,000. Both the FBI and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, were involved in the investigation, with the CFTC filing a parallel complaint against Van Dyke. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.